What? Hi everyone, Anthony Boitano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Kish record, American Gurl. Rapper, singer, and songwriter Kish, back with a new full-length LP, American Gurl. Her first in a while. I believe her last studio album was in 2016, Reflections in Real Time. A versatile record that saw her expanding into some artsier and more alternative shades of pop, while also trying to hold on to the cloud rap and R&B vibes that she broke with on her first mixtape, K+. Kish has not been all silent since 2016, though. There was her 2019 EP, Redux, which was one of my favorite EPs of that year. One of her best releases so far as well. Her songwriting ability matured quite a bit on this one, I think. And the bolder electropop production was certainly an improvement too. Something in that EP must have created a spark in Kish, because this record is her full break into pop and electropop, and she merges into this lane with a conceptual and dystopian flair. Cause sure, there are pop tunes on this record, but there's something supremely dystopian about the world they're building. Take the title track, for example, which is a self-affirming anthem, throwing out all of these themes of changing, breaking shackles, soundtracked by punchy beats, sticky lead vocals, thick, fuzzy synth chords too. And the transition this track makes into the spacey and low-key death fantasy is a surreal and kind of unsettling one, even if that song itself is a little one-note. And things on this LP get even stranger from here. Take Distractions 3, for example, which brings some interesting commentary on greed, also like a desperation to serve or satisfy some insatiable hunger. Eerie verses on this thing contrast nicely with bittersweet choruses. I've been spoiled rotten, give me a glimpse at never again. And there's a glitchy post-industrial beat breakdown on the bridge of this track too that's actually pretty cinematic. There is something quite movie-like about this project on the whole as well, like the cute little intro and outro and transitions along the record's runtime that give us the sense that this is all happening. Everything on this record is happening within an arcade game of some sort. And the full run of production from Raymond Brady on this thing keeps all the songs feeling locked in that world too, really giving American Gurl a sense of place. But the ultimate selling point on this project, I think, is much like Redux. We have a lot of well-written and well-structured pop tunes with some strong electropop production and some very standout hooks. Like No Apology, who apologizes? No apologizing. The way that flies, that soars with the synthesizer locking in with it in the background, that thing just through the sky like a jet, doing barrel rolls. Also, Attention Politician might be my favorite track on this thing. The production on this one is simple but insane. The loose but chunky beats, the really fat, hefty synths that are a little fuzzy as well. I mean, it's firmly an electropop track, but imagine one, but it's also simultaneously pulling a little bit groove-wise and aesthetically from hip-hop and chillwave. There are some creative stylistic detours across the track list as well, I want to point out, like with Choice COWBOY, for example, featuring Gene Dawson. This track explodes with visceral, hard-hitting breakbeats. The shouty refrains over the hook are blood-boiling. The moments in which the instrumental backs off and reveals some beautiful strings laced into the thing are great too. And there's a note of nostalgia to the track as well. It feels like it's all occurring in this 90s rave set in a dream. We pull from a similar era, especially in the rhythm section on the song On the Outside, which, yeah, we do get those very hefty rolling rhythms, but on top of that, some super thick gospel-inspired chord progressions, lead melodies that ring out into oblivion. The whole thing feels just gigantic. Then New Tricks with Vince Staples sounds like it's almost on the verge of a new genre or style entirely, like post-glitch industrial hip pop with Vince kind of going crazy in the background. This thing is far from the catchiest track on this project for sure, but I do like that it's onto something and it does creatively embody what is very obviously a Sophie influence. I also enjoy the song's commentary on conformity and this social competition for attention, breaking with the old way of doing things, and also exemplifying this in the lyrics with all of these references to dog-like behavior, being on a leash, wagging your tail for money, which, yeah, also adds to the record's macro picture in terms of sending this message of breaking away, breaking free, so on and so forth. But in this particular track, there's kind of a kinky angle to it too, weirdly. Beyond here, we have some okay cuts in the track list that are fine, but I'm not crazy about to one degree or another. Super Co Love, for example, sounds like an attempt at reverse engineering a rock song but as a synth pop song, and the attempt at that goes over all right. The melodies and groove are a little tedious, and for whatever reason, this track kind of lacks the chilling ambiance that makes so many other songs on here sound special and unique to the cinematic experience of this album. The song Bloody Future also does to a degree, but less so. At least the song and instrumentation goes over a lot smoother, and I guess there's more confidence in Kish's kind of tongue-in-cheek and playful vocal delivery as she sings about the 80s and 90s and 2000s and our society progressing further and further into a digital world. Then TV Baby version 2 is possibly my least favorite track here, but one that I guess I can only get so down on because it does seem like it's just an interlude of some sort. But still, it's laced with all these very warped and awkward pop melodies that just hit very sour, intentionally so, but I still don't care for it all that much. It comes off like a malformed take on The Knife or something like that. But at least intelligent design makes for a very strong finish on this LP, as the whole thing sounds like a musical ritual happening at the altar of dark future pop with Kilo Kish as the high priestess. And narratively, this track seems to tie the bow on this feeling that it's a bit of a rejection of the internet and capitalist prison our society has been ushered into. So yeah, my qualms with this project really come down to there being a handful of very so-so tracks in the track list, and on top of it, I will say to this day, Kilo Kish is not the strongest vocalist that you're ever going to come across, but with this particular record, the vocals are mixed so well, and there is a supreme amount of clarity to the narrative on this record that she does kind of close that gap. On top of it, the writing is just too good much of the time to ignore, so at least if those melodies, yeah, they don't have a super wide range, but they're done well, and they're presented in a way where they really hit, they really stick. And again, the production is consistently quality, and the concept is super neat as well. Like in those dystopian vibes, I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8 on this project. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Kilo Kish, forever.